Good morning, everyone. I, Pooja Singh, on behalf of the entire Campus Coach team, extend a very warm welcome to the students, teachers, principal of Modern Public School, Gautam Budh Nagar. I would specially like to thank Ms. Tapti Chatterjee and Ms. Sudha Shivdas for letting us host Campus Coach, an exclusive career and university program for the school students. Now I will request the Executive Director, Ms. Tapti Chatterjee, to please say a few words to the students. Ms. Tapti Chatterjee, over to you.
And thank you, Pooja. Rashmi ma'am, should I start or you want to say something? because okay. So I think what Sudha ma'am, Rashmi ma'am, should I start?
Rashmi ma'am has prepared a small about what is Campus Coach and
ma'am, we'll all right. I'll just call for Rashmi ma'am in that case. Rashmi ma'am, if you can please take the proceedings further.
Sure, ma'am. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Career University Fest 2021, organized by Modern Public School Greater Noida in association with Campus Coach. We Modernites firmly believe that in order to keep up pace in this dynamic changing world, it is important that we must keep ourselves updated with all the latest information and development around us. Abraham Lincoln has once said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Hope through this event, our inquisitive students would find answers to their queries related to career building. Now, before proceeding further, let me give you a very quick sneak peek of our allied partner, Campus Coach. Campus Coach is an exclusive career and university orientation program for school students which believes in bringing best coaches, subject matter experts in guiding school students towards right decision of making career choice. Now, I would like to invite Executive Director Ma'am, Mrs. Tapti Chatterjee, to say a few words. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Rashmi ma'am. Pooja ma'am, I have one request. If you think that we're shortage of time, please let Sudha start and let's start the meeting, okay? Because your thing is very important. I have seen already so many people have joined. Of course, there is always very close heart for Campus Coach in Modern Public School, because I hope that parents, students, they all are going to be benefited. Thank you so much, all the parents. Sudha ma'am, you start, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tapti ma'am.
Good morning, ED ma'am, Campus Coach team, parents, teachers, and my dear students. Modern Public School Greater Noida believes that career development is a lifelong process. You will change, situation will vary throughout your life, and you will continually make significant career and life decisions. To provide the proper guidance in our students of classes 9 to 12, today we have organized a career fest associated with Campus Coach. The purpose of today's career fest is to help you to make decisions you need to make now and to give you the knowledge and skills you need to make future career and life decision. Campus Coach team will guide you through the systematic process of analyzing the student's strength, interest, skills, abilities, and mapping them with the right career option and education. Now, I would like to introduce founder and moderator, Indian School Network, Mr. Gaurav Yadav. Even though he is not present here due to his busy schedule, just a brief about him. He is an international award winner and entrepreneur. Mr. Yadav has demonstrated exceptional work in school education, where he is following his passion for quizzing and developing what he popularly calls as smartness questions among the students. Thank you, sir. Now we are honored to have Ms. Vijita Valsan, a seasoned professional with over 22 years of experience in leading, training and skill development program in various sectors and skill development program. Welcome you, ma'am. We are honored to have Ms. Pooja Singh, a dynamic professional with vast experience of 20 years in the PR and event management industry and the education industry. She is actively leading the EduAce services group nationally. Welcome you, Mrs. Pooja Singh. With immense pleasure, on behalf of Modern Public School, I welcome our dear parents present here. It is my sincere hope that the program will yield positive results for our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sudha ma'am. Students, now I'll be taking you through the flow of the event today, what all we are going to do in the next 2 hours. The first session we are going to have by Miss Vijeta Valsan. She's going to steer you through regarding all the scholarships that are available in India and abroad. Followed up by a session by Miss Mamta Shankar. She's Senior Manager with KR Mangalam University. Then we have Miss Nupur Juneja. She's Senior Manager Outreach with Kreya University. Followed up by a session by Miss Dipali Shah. She's Assistant Director of International Students Recruitment with Foothill and Dienza University. Students, in the end, we are going to have a Q&A round, question and answer round. So I will request all the students to hear the session very carefully, write down all the points that you feel you want to have a query on. Whatever queries you have, we will be fulfilling those, not taking much time of yours now. I'll be inviting Vijeta ma'am to please take the proceedings further.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Campus Coach Career and University Fest Season 3. Just give me a moment while I just quickly share my screen. So, everyone, as Pooja mentioned, the first topic of the day is scholarships. And I have actually shortlisted 5 important, very popular Indian scholarships, followed by 5 popular study abroad scholarships. So, starting with a competition which is the Aryabhatta National Maths Competition. It's fun. The second scholarship test is the Albert Einstein International Scholarship Test. Moving on to the Nationwide Education and Scholarship Test, popularly. The fourth one is the National Scholarship Exam. The fifth one is probably the most popular scholarships in India, the Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana, popularly known as KVPY. So that's it about the Indian scholarships. Now let's look at 5 prestigious international scholarships for study abroad. The first one is the OCSI scholarship. OCSI stands for the Oxford and Cambridge Society of India. It's a non-profit alumni organization based in New Delhi. Moving on to the next one, which is a Cornell University Tata Scholarship. Next is the Yale University Scholarships. So Yale is a member of the prestigious Ivy League. And finally, it's the Melbourne University International Undergraduate Scholarship. This is for getting admission into the second oldest university in Australia, the Melbourne University. So with this, I come to an end of the first part of this session. In case you have any queries, do ask during the Q&A. Or alternately, you can also reach out to us on our email ID. Our email ID is cc, which is short for Campus Coach, cc@eduace.in. Do write into us and I'll call you back. Thank you so much. Now I'll hand over the session back to Pooja ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vijeta ma'am. Students, now we'll be having a session from Mamta ma'am. She's from KR Mangalam University. She's the professor there. Mamta ma'am, before I hand over to you, I will request all the students if you can please come on video so that ma'am is able to see you all. I'll request all the students to switch on their videos. Over to you, Mamta ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all the students, the parents, the teachers of Modern Public School. It's so nice to be here with you today. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of KR Mangalam University. And I would like to start this session with a video of our university so that I can virtually welcome you in. So, Pooja ma'am, just let me know if you're able to.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just a second. I need to share sound. Right. So that was a short video, which will, although we do welcome everybody into the university, I understand that it's a little tough right now. We are, of course, open for operations. I'm sitting in the university right now. But so for everybody who's not able to visit it this time, I hope you're able to get some idea about, life in the university. A lot of our students, yearn for campus life. So let me just tell you a little bit about us. We are located on the main highway, the Sona Road in Gurgaon. We are about, little more than 26 acres of campus. There are a lot of, things that I can tell you about the infrastructure, the labs, the facilities inside the university. But personally for me, what I feel is the USP of the university is that each and every faculty member thinks that our job is not just to teach you, but to focus on your career path or to help you, guide you to reach your potential. And that, I think, that passion, that commitment is what has set us apart. So, we, our student body, our faculty members, their parents, everybody together works as a team to make your future brighter. Now, this is how this university is divided into different schools. So the different departments can be from, engineering, law, architecture, medical and allied sciences, hotel management, journalism, everything, right? So we are a multidisciplinary university. What that means for us is that we are not, when you are part of the university, you don't live in a cocoon. You have access to the facilities of all the other departments, and we not only allow but also encourage interdisciplinary projects. As a part of our pedagogy, we use project-based learning because we believe that whatever you do yourself, that is so much more effective and more useful in the future. That's something that I'm going to come in the class and, teach you and go away, right? You have to learn by doing. And that has worked really well for us because I can compare to the times that, we were in college, and now the kind of methods that are being used, now the kind of thinking that goes behind our, the outcomes that we're looking for. Those are so different now. We are, we are given training about how to assess somebody not on the basis of how much they have retained or how many marks that they're getting, but the fact that everybody is a different type of learner and how you will perform in the future. From school, when students come to us, school has prepared them for college life. But in college, we have the responsibility of preparing you for the rest of your life, for your entire career path. So then our focus becomes different. Now coming back here, I would, like you to go onto our website where you will find details and eligibility criteria and everything about the different programs that are offered. But there are some things that I want all the students, especially those who are still in the 9th and 10th, to focus on. That when we talk about eligibility, over and over, we are trying to bridge or break down the barriers between the different types of streams. So please have a look at some courses like Bachelor in Interior Design or BJMC in Journalism and Mass Communication or Hotel Management for that matter. You have these open courses which don't have any specific eligibility requirement. Like I'm from the physiotherapy department, so we have a PCB requirement, right? But these courses are open. Many of our graduate students, so when they're doing their graduation, it is with an aim to apply for the UPSC exams or government banking exams and all that. A lot of our students have this focus. So as mentors, it is our responsibility to make sure that that happens seamlessly. So earlier what used to happen was that there was a clash between their coursework, their university work, and their coaching that they're getting. So again, we've removed that gap, we've integrated it. We've tied up with one of the best coaching institutes that is, providing these services for a long time. And so now, whether you're doing BA, BCom, BSc, you do have the option, if that is your goal, to have this integrated into your program itself. Like we say, K.R. Mangalam University is the complete world of education. So you don't have to go anywhere else. We will provide it for you. We have deep industry integration. Our students go for training everywhere within the campus. We have the eYantra Robotics Lab. This is a collaboration with IIT Bombay. Now here, the professors from IIT Bombay will mentor our students. They work on projects together, and they come up with super innovative stuff. And this is not just for engineering, or anybody who would like to have some innovation or some ideas. And on the other end of the spectrum, where on one end we have all these high-tech drones and stuff that the students come up with, you also have within the campus the Smart Ashram, because the future is not just about being high tech. It's also about returning to your roots. It is also about caring about the environment. It is also about talking about sustainability. A note about our international collaborations. We do have international tie-ups with certain universities, and for those students who are looking to go abroad, but sometimes what happens is the financial aspect becomes a hurdle because it is rather expensive. So what you can do is explore these options. We'll give you the details, contact numbers of our admissions office. They can help you with the details, because there are different programs that have different tie-ups. In some, you can do part of your study here, partly abroad, or you do your bachelor's here, then go abroad, or you just go for a summer internship or something. There are different options. So those you can explore. We did have a glimpse of, the hostel complex, the sports facilities and everything. I want to talk about the placement, especially because a lot of, parents have this concern that, what are the placements like for a particular college or institute and stuff. So luckily for K.R. Mangalam University, today we are in a position where we are one of the best universities within NCR. And so we do have, companies who have now been coming in very regularly, our alumni who are doing rather well, and then that sets a good example. So what has really worked for us is the fact that the placement starts right when you enter. It doesn't start when you're in your final year. So you will be, mentored, you will be assessed by a team of people to try and figure out what are the skills that we can give you, what are your interests. Let's find out where these merge and try and find you the right fit. And that is something that, I can go on and on about, because it's not important to find the most, highest paying job. Chalo wo kar lete hain. What is the highest paying, profession? The highest paying profession will be for you, whatever you have become good at. Right? So that is something that we have understood, and we would try to inculcate. There are a number of companies that come for recruitment drives here, and that's the common theme, that you have to be the right fit. we offer merit-based scholarships, and again, you can contact our admissions department to find out the details of that. Because for undergraduates, we have merit scholarships that can go up to 100% of your fees as well. So please note down our number. You can take a screenshot if you want, 011-4888-4888, and you can always write into us at schoolconnect@krmangalam.edu.in. I am here to answer your questions. If you have anything specific, please let me know. Otherwise, you can always, write in or, visit us as well. We do, maintain all COVID protocols also. So thank you so much. And I'm here for further questions if needed. Thanks, Pooja ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mamta ma'am. Students, at the end of all the sessions, we'll be having a Q&A round. I will request you all to please note down your queries regarding KR Mangalam University, if you have any. Now, I would be calling upon Nupur Juneja. She's the Senior Manager Outreach with Kriya University. Over to you, Nupur.
Thank you so much, Pooja. I really appreciate it. And thank you to your team to invite us for Modern Public School session today. Of course, I would like to thank the school team as well, who's providing us the opportunity to interact with their students. I just hope that today me and my colleagues are able to set that context for the students and able to positively contribute in their decision of which course and which college they want to choose. Before I actually deep dive into telling you a little more about my university, quickly I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nupur. I represent the outreach team of Kriya University. And I'll quickly share my screen, and I would like to go ahead and talk to the students about something very general to start with, to be very honest. Kriya is a liberal arts college, one of the top liberal arts colleges in India. And before I actually go ahead and talk a little more about the university, it would be good if I could just clear a myth for maybe a lot of students here who I'm not very sure how many of you are aware of what liberal arts mean. Commonly, it is being confused with a course for students from humanities background. But I just want to go ahead and break that myth here that it is actually not a course, it is the way of learning. Plus, it is not just because there is a term arts mentioned in that word, liberal arts. It is also not just for the students coming from humanities background, because commonly in India, we talk about humanities as arts. I can understand that where the confusion could arise. But liberal arts and sciences, Kriya offers liberal arts and sciences. Therefore, students coming from various streams, various divisions can come and study at Kriya and can pick up liberal arts. Why there's even a requirement of reimagining the education? I think the higher education space hasn't changed much, and Mamta ma'am did mention that while talking about KR Mangalam, that the higher education space hasn't changed much in the last 30-40 years. It is very important for you to understand what's the difference between studying in a liberal arts college in comparison to studying in a conventional college. Liberal arts colleges or overall liberal arts gives you a very holistic and overall all-rounded atmosphere to study in. It just does not promote multidisciplinary, where you are able to go ahead and choose subjects from various disciplines, but it also brings those subjects together in terms of you are able to understand, if let's say you take biological sciences and then you are interested in psychology, you understand biological sciences from psychological point of view, and you understand psychology from biological sciences point of view. Therefore, you are able to create a unique degree for yourself, where you have a complete flexibility and a freedom to choose multiple subjects. And I'll talk a little more about it in my further slides. But as I mentioned, today, the world that we are in, And I think thanks to the pandemic, it has given a little more perspective to all of us in terms of that it is a changing world. From a completely chalk and blackboard environment, we have transitioned to an online classes and online schooling. Thanks to technology, we have been embracing technology for long, but I think pandemic has established a fact that technology is here to stay and it will keep changing. The face of technology would keep changing. The interplay between the man, machine and nature would keep changing. So anything that you in future want to probably go ahead and study, you need to take in cognizance of how much technology involvement would be there and how what you do impacts nature. There are new jobs that everyone is hearing. I think even the World Economic Forum had mentioned that just 10 years from now, the jobs that would be there in the market, which probably you, the Gen Z, would be doing, has not been even invented yet. So how do you even prepare yourself for that unpredictable world? Multidisciplinary knowledge, I've already talked about. Today in this particular world, it is not enough that you study one subject. And why do you even have to go ahead and choose at the age of 17 and 18 that what you want to do? There are diverse interests that students have, and definitely you should have a complete freedom of choosing where your bent is and what you are interested in, what you are passionate about. Of course, what also would be required in this world would be not just the technical know-how or the theoretical knowledge of these subjects, but also the skills. These are the 21st century skills, as we mentioned, the 4 C's: the communication skill, the collaboration skill, the critical thinking, and the creativity is something that anything and everything that you would do from here on would require. I'll give you a very simple example for anyone and everyone to understand. There are a lot of students, when I talk to them, they talk about a very specific kind of a career that they want to pick up. I think the KPMG mentioned very, very recently in 2019 or 20 that if AI ethicist job is one of the top 5 jobs that any corporates would require. We all are aware of artificial intelligence and we are very keen on getting into an AI, or this is an AI world, and getting into AI and robotics. Who thought that ethics could be a job? And now if you are aiming for something like this, you need to have a multidisciplinary knowledge where you would not just require to understand the computational modeling or the mathematical modeling, but you would also require to understand philosophy and history to be able to take those ethical decisions, to create those softwares which are ethical in nature and are not violating human rights. In fact, there are a lot of students who are right now interested in getting into digital marketing or maybe content creation. Understand that when you get into a world like this, which is a high-paying job, to enter in digital marketing and sustain in digital marketing, you just don't need the requirement of having a keen interest in advertising or understanding the marketing tools, but you also need to understand the market trends. For that, you would require economics. You would have to go ahead and create content for which you would require the knowledge of English. You would have to have a bent of how people are reacting to it. Therefore, you would need to have an understanding of psychology to understand human behavior altogether. So these are few examples for you to understand that how a holistic development, not just in terms of the subjects that you have studied, but also the skills that you would require to sustain in longer life. Kriya pioneers in interwoven learning. It is a notch up on from the interdisciplinary approach. Not just you have a flexibility of choosing various subjects from various streams basis your interest. So whether you are interested in natural sciences or you're interested in social sciences or literature and global arts, you can choose and create a degree and understand things from different lenses. And if you want to be a problem solver, any problem of the world that you want to probably solve in the future, you would require this multi-lens approach where you are able to see and find solutions to these problems. Therefore, it was a requirement. People from different walks of life have come together to create something like Kriya. People like Raghuram Rajan, who has been by far one of the best economists that India has seen. He was also the former governor of RBI. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, who's an entrepreneur, chairman and managing director, Biocon. Industrialists like Mr. Anand Mahindra, scientists like Tara Tyagarajan, educators like John Ejimian, scholars like Manjul Bhargava. People like these from different walks of life have come together, and this is our council members of Kriya who have come together and created a philanthropic initiative. This is a philanthropic initiative. That means that the money that our university earns does not go to one single pocket. It actually goes back to the college. Kriya campus is situated in Sri City, which is also a special economic zone. Satyavedu Reserve Intra-City is what it is called. There are 187 different industries from 27 different countries situated in Sri City. And it's a 40-acre campus. All the facilities that you can probably think of that are required at a residential campus is available. We are 3 years old now. However, our legacy is quite firm. Kriya has 2 schools. One is School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences, which I'm representing today. And then we have IFMR Graduate School of Business, which has been awarding post-graduation degree in management for the last 20 years. We also have research centers like JPAL, IWAGE, LEAD, and CEDFI. If you are aware of Professor Abhijit Banerjee, who's the Nobel laureate, most of his research work was done under JPAL, which is part of IFMR. So therefore, our legacy is quite firm. Kriya offers a BA Honours and a BSc Honours degree in Liberal Arts and Sciences. We also offer a 4th year of advanced studies to students. Now that the National Education Policy talks about 12 plus 4, which is 16 years of education, keeping that in mind, we have a 4th year of advanced studies, which is not an automatic progression, but the students after completing their graduation from Kriya would have to reapply, and there'll be a different screening process, and therefore that advanced studies program is also offered to other university students as well. Kriya basically is following these guiding principles. All our academic program are very writing intensive. I think if you know a little about liberal arts, it's a research-based program what liberal arts colleges offer you and prepares you for whether you want to go for your progression for your post-graduation after your graduation, or you want to enter the corporate world. I think it will completely prepare you with these kind of exposures that you would get. Of course, I've mentioned about the interdisciplinary element. Ethics, historicity, data analytics, these are few things that are taught to every student, irrespective again which course you choose to study at Kriya, what specialization you want to take up. You would have to go through these basic skill courses and core courses that we offer in the first year. The other USP for Kriya, I think, is not just the kind of programs that we offer, but these programs are delivered by these multifaceted faculty who are just not the names or alums of the top universities of the world. These are all of them are PhD holders, few of them are double PhD holders, and these are few serious change makers and practitioners in their fields. They are multi-talented, and they just don't deliver the curriculum as a teacher, but also mentors the students throughout their journey. The 3 years that you spend with us, all of these faculties would act as mentor for you. The other unique thing of Kriya is the student cohort. We are completely inclusive, and we have a diverse community. Students from various boards and curriculums apply to Kriya, whether it is IB, whether it is Cambridge, CBSE, or state boards. We have representations from all. We have representation from all geographical backgrounds, I would say. Students from 18 different cities and 18 different states and 50 different cities of India and abroad are coming to Kriya. We are inclusive, as I mentioned. We offer financial assistance. 10% of our students studying at Kriya are first-time college goers, first generation of college goers, and these are students who come from an excellent academic background with extracurricular interests and achievements, not only just school levels but state level and national level. Now, how the curriculum, the entire structure is spread. You require 35. You need to complete 35 courses to graduate. The first year is a foundation year. Now, the best thing is that there are no prerequisites. The students don't have to come decided. If you have still not thought about that, which major and minor you want to do, it's absolutely okay. The first year foundation course will help you make that decision for yourself, that are you interested in psychology? What kind of combination should you make? Should that be an economics and psychology? Should that be a physics and literature, or let's say chemistry and maybe economics? These are things that you can explore and see in the first year. So first year is 11 core courses and skill courses that you do. Towards the end of the first year, which is the specialization that you declare your major and minor for second year and third year. As I mentioned, we are a research-based university. The students are required to do a capstone thesis. And I think I was talking to one of the industry leader, I don't remember the name right now, but they were talking about when we go ahead and talk to these experts from industry, they go ahead and talk about at any point of time, any portfolio that you submit, whether it is for the admission in any of the foreign universities or Indian universities for post-graduation, or you are going for a corporate job, a research paper holds absolutely more value than anything else that you would have done. Because while you are writing a research paper, it gives you so much of exposure, so much of experience to put your thoughts together. And that is something that is really required at this point of time. These are the core courses. Again, design thinking, data analytics, writing and oral communication, creative expression, scientific reasoning, mathematical reasoning, literature and arts. Again, irrespective whether you are choosing global arts or whether you are choosing business studies to study, you would go through all the courses. Our application process is quite simple. This is the process that we had for the last 3 batches. We expect this to be same for the next year as well. Our 2021 intake, we have already closed our rounds. We would be starting our application somewhere in October. I invite all of you to visit our website to look at the dates. It's very simple. We don't have a criteria of minimum percentage. However, we require your transcript starting from grade 9 to grade 12 when you are putting your written application. There's a personal story, not a statement of purpose, that the students are required to write. Once you have completed your written application and you are shortlisted, you are invited for Kriya Immersion Case Day, where you have a group presentation. Before that, you are given a case study on which you have to do a reflective essay along with 5 or 6 more shortlisted students. And then you have a one-on-one faculty interaction, which is not a personal interview. Post that, there is just a 30-minute quant reasoning and a logical reasoning test that is part of the Kriya application. Now, even if you have done maths, still, let's say grade 9th, you should be all good to pass this particular 30-minute test. I just want to go ahead and mention there are no prerequisites. Again, even if you have not studied maths and economics or let's say psychology in your 11th and 12th, you can still come and do those subjects at Kriya. Because you would be able to create that. Again, as I mentioned, you are able to choose and create a unique degree for yourself at Kriya. This is the fee structure. Rest all the information are available on the website. I go ahead and welcome all of you to visit our website once to have a little more information. I'll quickly check my credentials. You can take a screenshot, though I would also be available during the Q&A round to answer any specific questions that you would have for Kriya University. please take a screenshot. If you want to get in touch with me one-on-one, please, I'll be more than happy to help you on that as well. Thank you so much, Pooja. I really apologize for taking that extra minute.
That's okay. Thank you, Nupur, so much. Students, we will be getting on to our next session. Before we go there, I will request you all to write down all your queries that you have regarding Creia University. Now I'll be inviting upon Dipali. She is from Foothill Dianza University. Dipali, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Let me first share my screen and then take this forward.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I hope you all can see my screen. Good morning, dear students, parents, and my colleagues. Thank you so much for joining us today morning. My name is Dipali Shah. I work with Foothill College and Dianza College. We are two community colleges in the Silicon Valley, very close to San Francisco in California. Before I start to tell you a little bit about the US and Foothill and Dianza colleges, I just want to ensure that you all are doing well, staying safe and staying healthy, and above all, staying happy at Toronto in Canada. So you're not restricted to only transfer within California because we are in California. You can transfer to any state in the US or even outside the US. We have more than 100 transfer agreements. We are ranked number 1 for transfers in California. And we also have guaranteed and preferred transfers. So as long as you pass, you're definitely transferring. However, with this supportive environment, if you do really well, you can even transfer to the top university. And it's very difficult to not transfer. In order to not transfer, you got to fail. And it's very difficult to fail at a community college with the right support. Okay? So that's about the transfers, and it becomes an easier path to reach your goal. Applying is simple. You just have to go on our website, international.fhda.edu, fill out a simple application form, upload your high school transcripts. We need an English proficiency test score, so you must take either IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo or PTE. SAT is not required. Okay. We also would like you to upload your passport copy, and that's about it. Submit your application, we make a decision and get back. We have 3 intakes, winter, which is Jan, spring, which is April, and fall, which is September. So that's the biggest intake where most international students apply, because you don't want to waste a year. And remember, if you're looking at the US, you start applying when you're in grade 12. You don't wait to get done with grade 12 and apply. Okay, so at least 9 months before the intake starts, usually students start applying. So when you're in grade 12, around October, you must September, October start the process. All right, I think I've spoken about the rankings, but I'd just like to say that there are more than 1,000 community colleges in the US. It's a very good concept. We are in California, so if you come and study with us, your first 2 years that you do with us will be in California, in the Silicon Valley, very close to San Francisco. We're the second largest for international students amongst community colleges. So you're going to study with more than 85, with students coming from more than 85 countries. And that's a very exciting experience when you sit in a classroom, study with a Canadian, study with an African, study with a Chinese. That helps to develop a global mindset, which is the need of the hour. Okay. For safety, it's the Silicon Valley. It's very safe. We are the safest community college district of California. In fact, Foothill College is very close to the headquarters of Google and Stanford University, so a very prestigious location. And Dianza is 15 minutes away from Foothill, near the headquarters of Apple in the city of Cupertino. That means you have a lot of opportunities for internships. Yes, a lot of our students, most of them do internships. You can also work on campus part-time in the first year, because internship can be done only after the first year in the US. And we give you full support to find internships and to go for your interview. Last but not the least, can you succeed by beginning at a community college? Yes, you can. Barack Obama was a student of a community college. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, co-founders of Apple, studied with us. Steve Wozniak studied 2 years at Dianza College, studied computer science, and then transferred to UC Berkeley. So the chancellor of UCLA, Kennedy Block, studied 2 years at Foothill College, transferred to Stanford. So it's a very common practice to do this in the US. 8.5 million students are studying at community colleges. We are accredited So there's nothing to worry about. It does not affect the jobs that you get just because you did the first 2 years at a community college, because it's a legitimate education system. It's not a backdoor. Okay, so we are part of the US education system. We are part of the same education as the Californian University. Well, these are some of our students' success stories. So we have a lot of students from India. They study different programs, so feel free to ask more questions. This is the slide that you can take a print screen or a picture if you're on your cell phone. My contact details are on the screen, and what's even more exciting is the barcode. Scan it with a phone if you have your camera. It'll take you straight to a brochure. But what I recommend is, in this new age, follow us on Instagram or Facebook. You'll be updated with the latest information. I'll give you 5 seconds to screenshot the screen. So let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, and I hope you've taken a picture of this. So thank you for joining me today, and now I'm here to take your questions, if any.
Thank you, Dipali, so much. Students, now we'll be opening the house for Q&A round. We'll be taking your questions. I'll first invite the 12th class students if you have any kind of queries regarding the universities who have spoken with us today. Yes, Prisha, please unmute yourself.
Prisha, you want to... Any question? Please go ahead.
Good morning, respected teachers. It will be very kind of you if you just clear my query. So my query is that if someone is pursuing an IIT development studies from IIT Madras, then what are the career options after completion of the course?
Can you repeat your question, Prisha?
Disha, please repeat your question.
If someone is pursuing an development studies degree from IIT Madras, then what are the career options after the completion of the course?
Prisha, do you mean a software developer? Do you want to be like, do you want to study software development, or can you clarify a little bit, like
development studies with humanities
from IIT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll talk to you about careers related to humanities so that you have a little more clarity. First of all, to study humanities in the US, you don't need a certain background. Okay, so you can study humanities even if you are, let's say, somebody who is from the science field. There's no prerequisite to study humanities in the US. You can have I have seen students do humanities, have great careers in psychology. You can do business studies. It's literally your choice. I also have a student who's actually studying psychology with music because she wants to be a music therapist. So it's totally up to you, because the first 2 years in the US give you that opportunity to explore, because you all have to do those mandatory select a few classes from the core curriculum. So it gives you exposure to a few pure science classes, to a few classes in social sciences, which is nothing but similar to humanities. It gives you a chance to study languages. And I feel that at this stage in life, what is really important for you to figure out is what you like to study. Once you figure that out, there is a huge array, I would say, of careers that lie ahead of you, whether you want to make a career then in psychology, or you want to go ahead with international relations, communication studies, business and entrepreneurship, marketing, or you probably want to do computer science. It's totally your choice. But if you are a student who's studying humanities, I think these are the typical careers that you would have related to psychology, communication studies, business, management, etc. Is that okay? Does that help?
Thank you, Dipali. Yes,
Okay.
does that help you, Prisha?
Yes, ma'am. It helped me a lot. Thank you so much.
Riza,
Right.
client would like to ask a few questions. Riza, please go ahead.
Ma'am, I'll be taking the questions of the students who've raised their hands, and then we'll call out for students who are not raising their hands, ma'am. Rohan, if you can please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted I have a question for Dipali ma'am, and I wanted to ask that I want to pursue my software developing and robotics from IIT, and then ma'am, so ma'am, if we want to apply for this particular course in another country like in USA for community college, then ma'am, what will be the arrangement, or ma'am, then we will have to give some certificates or letter to the particular college or university?
Yes, Dipali.
Okay, so that's a great question, but let me clarify that if you decide to come to a community college in the US, you're going to come at the undergraduate level or the bachelor's level, right? So if you're talking about going to the IIT and then one of the IITs and then coming to a community college, it doesn't make sense because we do not offer master's degree program. So if you're interested in beginning with us, you will have to come to us right after grade 12 to do your bachelor's degree and not after your bachelor's. So you will apply to us when you're in grade 12, complete your grade 12, start with us, do the first 2 years of your bachelor's degree program with us because we're 2-year institution. And then in the 3rd year, you will transfer to a university to complete your last 2 years and to get your bachelor's degree from the university. The reason you can do the first 2 years at a community college is because it's the same university level classes, which are general education in the US, and it saves a lot of cost and the transfers become easier, okay? Now, having said that, what you need to do now is concentrate on your academics, okay? So do well in your high school because we will need your high school mark sheets. You also have to take an English language proficiency test, ideally when you're in between grade 11 and 12. And that's about it. We don't need SATs or essays and recommendation letters. We will only look at these 3 documents, okay? So I hope that brings clarity that you come to us after grade 12 and not after your bachelor's degree.
Thank you, Dipali, so much. Now I'll be taking the next question of Ruchi. Ruchi, please unmute yourself. And if you can please come on video also. We can't hear you, Ruchi. No, you're not audible. Can you just check with your network and then I'll get back to you. Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask that what is the scope of journalism in future and if there is any specific subject which is required for it?
All right, Nupur, if you can please take that.
Thanks, Ruchi. You said journalism and which is the other subject?
Ma'am, if there is any specific subject which is required for it?
He wants to do journalism. Is there any specific subject that you did?
So, for journalism, of course, you don't require a specific subject, but mostly the students with an interest in, let's say, languages. Maybe if you are good with English, then you can look at exams. You can give few exams, and there are certain universities who offer journalism where you need to pass the exams if you're looking for government colleges. Of course, there are other universities who offer journalism. I think KR Mangalam does. I heard Mamta ma'am mentioning about that. So I think Vivek would be a good person to talk about their college. Kriya specifically doesn't offer journalism. However, if you are looking at making your career in journalism later, you can also look at subjects like politics, history, English, of course, and I think liberal arts could be one great option for yourself. If you are looking at doing specialization in journalism or getting into media, whether it is print or the normal TV media and all of that, how a liberal arts college prepares you for anything, any specialization or any professional course that you go for later. It gives you a holistic development, not just about the subjects, but also the skills that you would require on grounds when you enter a field like journalism. So that is what I can recommend from my side to you. But as far as your question is concerned about a specific subject, not really required. You can pick up journalism after any stream that you do.
Yeah, I will request Vivek sir to please pitch in for her.
Yeah, so Prachi, Ruchi, this is an open subject course. What does it mean is that for, let's say for engineering, you need PCM primarily. For medical, you need PCB primarily. But for these are the open courses like journalism, hotel management, or all these courses, they do not require as such any stream. Whichever stream you are from, you can go for journalism. And post journalism, there can be a lot of scopes for the journalist students. I mean, there are many fields that you can go in, so there is plenty of scope and plenty of opportunities available for the students of journalism. And it is not specific to any subject as such.
And I just want to add to that, Pooja, specifically, Ruchi, if you're looking for journalism, there are a lot of fields like travel journalism, sports
Absolutely.
journalism, and all of that is open for you. That is a unique way of actually an intermingling of your interest with a subject or professional degree that you want to do. You can match that with your interest, and then you can do wonders because you would be passionate about that particular field that you choose. Yeah.
Can I add to this? I just want to say this because see, journalism is actually a very well-known career in the US. It's actually a very good program, one of our top programs at De Anza College. And students who study journalism with us at De Anza Ruchi, they are exposed to subjects like news writing, reporting, communication, media, and its impact on society. They also study digital video recording, editing, photography, because the new age journalists need to have at least some knowledge in these areas in order to excel with competition that's increasing. So you can explore, you can go to deanza.edu, our website, and then go to journalism. It'll also give you career options that you can have as a journalist. Besides being a video anchor or a news anchor and a reporter, you can also, there is so much more that you can do as a journalist, So the one skill that I always recommend students to have when they want to pursue a career in journalism is the ability to communicate effectively. And mind you, communication has nothing to do with the language. Communication is your ability to put across your message, right? So if you are somebody who can communicate and whatever you say impacts the other person the way it should, you can be a good journalist, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Dipali, so much. Ruchi, I hope they answer your query very well. Are you satisfied?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All the best to you. We'll be taking the next question of Niharika. She's from class 11th. Niharika, please unmute yourself. Yes, Niharika, go ahead with your question. I believe she's not around. We'll take the next question from Riza. Riza is from 9th, I believe. Riza, go ahead with your question.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Actually, I have 3 queries with you and the representatives of Kya Mangalam and Kriya University.
Okay, go ahead.
Ma'am, my first question to you is, ma'am, I want to, take my career as an artist, full-time artist, and I don't know how to pursue it. Currently, I'm using Instagram as a medium to showcase my artwork. What would you recommend me to do and, to be prepared for the upcoming future?
Riza, which class are you in?
I'm 9th class.
You're in 9th. Yes, Vivek, if you would take that.
Okay, Riza, good afternoon, good morning once again. So Riza, first thing I would like to know what kind of art you are pursuing, because there are different forms of art. That art is a very generic term as such. So what kind of art you are pursuing, I would like to understand that first.
It's mostly modern art and portraits with watercolors.
Okay, so you paint. So you paint. Painting is an art that you are calling it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because acting is also an art, or singing is an art, or other things. So I'm okay. So I figure out. So okay. So if you want to pursue your career in art of this sort, we have colleges across India which offer degrees in fine arts, which offer degrees in sculpture of this sort, right? We have college in Delhi as well. We have a renowned college in Delhi. I'm not Delhi College of Fine Arts, if I'm not wrong. This is a college, and you can pursue your 4-year degree from there. And post that, you can be a professional artist, and you can work anywhere. Either you can work freelance, or you can have your own organization, or you can work with any company as well. Or you can do whatever you feel, whatever art you feel like, you can pursue that.
Thank you, Vivek. Please pitch in, because
Ma'am, my
Yes.
question for the representative of K.R. Mangalam College is that this fine arts field available in the K.R. Mangalam College? Because I heard architecture and fashion
yes.
designing most close to art, but I could not find her mentioning fine arts or
Yes.
global arts like
Yes.
Kriya.
Yes, at K.R. Mangalam we do have course in architecture, we do have course in interior design, we do have course in fashion design. However, we do not have course in fine arts as such.
All right. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think Nupur, I would like you to take that, please.
Yeah. Riza, first of all, I would like to really appreciate the clarity that you have in your mind. You are a grade 9 student.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're thinking towards matching your interests with a course that probably you would like to take, and you were keenly listening to various colleges talking about the different courses that they are offering. I think that's great. I just want to go ahead and answer your question in 2 parts. One, very specifically, Kriya doesn't offer a course in performing arts or fine arts as such. However, we do have global arts, which we offer as a minor to students. But of course, looking at your bent and your interest, I can say you can definitely look at liberal arts degree as that you should pursue in your graduation time, because it will give you a flair of not just pursuing your interest, knowing a little more about the subject that you're interested in, but also help you building up skills. You already are on Instagram, and if you are on that particular path, I think that's a fantastic way for any student to not just go ahead and get involved no more, but display their ability. What we call as creating a portfolio. So whether it is somebody that is interested in technology and has a bent towards AI and robotics, how are they going ahead and creating live projects around that? And similarly, when you have a bent towards fine arts and you have chosen a path by going onto Instagram and putting that on display, I think that's a great vision altogether that you have at this age. Influencers, that what we call as in the Instagram world altogether. All of these things, if you want to bring together, what you require as a knowledge is to understand that how do you pursue your passion, your interest, and become an entrepreneur, or you are able to excel in that particular field, even if you are not able to pursue that as an artist altogether. Okay, but how do you get into the world of being an artist and be associated with fine arts, painting, and then enhance it further is what liberal arts can definitely give you an edge in terms of your exposure altogether. The global arts that what we offer at Kriya, of course, I would request you to go to our website and look at that particular theme. I'll share that link with you, of course. I'll share it with Pooja, and she can probably, one of the team members from Campus Code can share it with the school team, where you can go ahead and very specifically look at Riza, what is covered under global arts. Global arts with literature, what we do in global arts is it helps you appreciate what we teach you in global art. It's to appreciate and evaluate the different forms of art that are available. So go through the details of the course. If that is something that you are also interested in, definitely I would welcome you once you are completed with your grade 12 to come and apply it. Yeah. And who knows that in the next 4 years, we probably would offer different fine arts and other things at Kriya. So keep a close watch on the Kriya website, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nupur, for answering that. I'll be taking the next question of Mayank Sharma. Please unmute yourself.
So good morning, ma'am. I am Mayank of class 9O, and my query is that how can we prepare for IIT from the 9th or 10th grade in order to build a solid foundation?
All right, Vijayata ma'am, I'll request you to help him out with this question. Vijayata ma'am will get in touch with you and she'll answer your query. Mayank, we'll be going to the next student, Palak. If you can just unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, all the mentors. So I would like to ask that as we know, this pandemic has affected our country too much. So I would like to ask, after this pandemic, which field has a good scope, or which field can help our country to recover and grow faster and recover the loss after this pandemic?
Okay, Palak, what subjects do you have and which class are you in? What are your interests, if you can tell us that?
I am in class 11 and I have chosen PCM.
Okay. Dipali, if you can, okay. Yeah, Dipali and then Vivek sir.
I love this question, Palak. I think you are an entrepreneur in the making. You're already thinking ahead. You're already thinking of what career is going to prosper. But have we stopped interacting despite the pandemic is a question that I'd like to ask. The answer is no. So you can go ahead and pursue your career in whatever interests you, irrespective of what's going to prosper and not after the pandemic. Because trust me when I say this, if you are pursuing your passion, you're going to excel no matter what. Okay. Currently, looking at the way things are doing, to straight away give you an answer to your question so that you know that an answer was given. I think I have seen obviously the health system do really well in the pandemic, correct? But that doesn't mean that the other fields which are not doing so well at the moment. I understand hospitality is suffering. I understand a lot of business and retail firms are suffering. But think about this, Palak. This was the same situation even before the pandemic, because pre-pandemic, we already saw the wholesale and retail and marketing industries, the real shop establishments that were happening suffer because online took over. Because of Big Basket and Amazon taking over, we already saw these retail industries go down on business. So this is nothing to do with the pandemic. I feel if you are somebody who can innovate and think ahead of time, you will excel in whatever you do. And technology, honestly, since you're studying the sciences, is going to be a great way to make a career. Because if you see the report of some of these technology giants, like I'll give you an example of Quantify, which is a company sponsored by Google. They did more than 80% increase in business compared to pre-pandemic, because everybody wants technology now. They want solutions to connect the world online and not let business affect, or not let any field affect. Now, even after the pandemic, when life goes back to normal, I know I may not be able to travel to some cities in India to meet with students. So this will stay. The virtual world will stay. And hence, I think technology will do really well. The health service department will do really well. Everybody will want insurances. Business ideas will come up really well. So the answer is almost all fields will do well. Businesses will revive. The question to ask yourself is, what are you passionate about? And why do you want to do a particular area of study? Okay. So I think I hope that answers your question to some extent.
Yes, Vivek, I'll request you to please come in.
Okay, I just want to say that I can smell patriotism from Palak's question, because she asked how can we revive our country's slowdown as such. So it will take an effort from 130 crore people to come back to normalcy or pre-COVID times. However, coming back to what Palak is probably could not say, but what she was looking at is what industry will be good after pandemic probably. So I think what Dipali ma'am has said, that almost all the industries will come back to normalcy in a couple of years' time. And you being a science student, I hope that you become an entrepreneur and develop some applications which it eases the task of different industries, as in probably in hospitality or probably in healthcare or anything, any industry that you may be liking for. So I think it's going to be it's just a slow down. It's a temporary stopgap basically. We will come back, we'll bounce back, and we'll bounce back with some more energy. And I think you are good to go to in any field, I believe. I mean, any field is good field right now. I mean, there's nothing as such. Yes, I'm from hospitality background. I teach hospitality in this university. I know hospitality has been struck very hard with this pandemic, but I know this will bounce back. So it will take a little while, but then it will bounce back. So by the time you graduate, after completing 11th, 12th and graduation, things will be far better and settled. Dust would have settled by that time, and things will be far clearer at that time, and you will be able to make much better decision in your life. All the best, Pala. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. I hope Niharika is back now. Niharika, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Niharika? All right. I was trying to take the senior class students first. Anyways, Rohan Khare, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, once again, I have a question for Dipali. Ma'am, I wanted to ask that, ma'am, if you can share your email ID or something, contact detail, and ma'am, as well, I have one more question that if we pass the test to come in the community college like Foothill and Dianza, then ma'am, can a typical Indian boy settle in the environment there and surroundings like there? Ma'am, what will be the outcome?
Yes, that's a good question. Thank you for that question, Rohan. Community colleges are known for helping you to adapt. So when it comes to adjusting and transitioning better from India to the US education system, your answer is community colleges, because the support that we provide is unmatched. It's exceptional. Imagine you have really small classes. Some classes are like 7 or 8 students, depending on which class you're doing. Also, you have something called as the Student Success Center, where you can meet with your mentors beyond class hours, and they help you to adjust in whatever areas you're facing difficulty. You have your international counselors to make your study plans and guide you. There is the student service cell. There is so much that we have on campus. It's a very inclusive environment, and adjusting is definitely going to be easier with this right support. So don't worry about that. We've seen thousands of students adjust really well every year, do well in 2 years, save on cost and transfer out. And I'm sure you're going to be one of those. Now, I think those 5 seconds were not really enough to share my details. So what I'll do is, okay, so I'll probably, can I just, Pooja, is it okay if I can share that screen for a second? Maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah, please do that. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just share my screen for you, and I'll count probably 3 this time, right? And then you can take a print screen. So I hope you can see the screen, and I hope you're ready. So Rohan, this is for you. 3, 2, 1. I hope you've taken a screenshot. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so much, Dipali. We'll be taking the next question from Gauri Chaudhary. Yes, Gauri, unmute yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, good morning, everyone. My question is that I want to pursue my career in management field. So, even can I pursue that after doing BCom?
Yes, of course. Vivek, if you could answer her.
So, Gauri, what are your subjects right now? Gauri, what are your subjects right now?
So, I have completed my 12th in commerce, and I have business studies, accounts, economics.
All right. So you want to be in the field of management, right? So there's no problem. You can, as you say that you want to do BCom, post BCom you can go for MBA or any other master's course, and you can find a job somewhere where you can be in the you can join as management trainee as well. In a lot of companies hire management trainees, and you can be in the management cadre soon, joining after the organization. And you in any ways you will be managing a lot of things in your life. So you are a manager right now also, you're managing your course. So but then making career out of management, it's not very difficult as such. You can be in any field as such. No, not an issue whatsoever.
Yes, Nupur, would you like to pitch in something for Kriya University?
Yeah, so we don't offer business management as a undergraduate course, and I understand that Niharika is interested in doing BCom first. Niharika, I just want to go ahead and mention to you that, of course, masters in business management is something that every student, irrespective what undergrad they have done, completed, whether it is engineering or whether it is any other conventional course, everyone nowadays look for completing a master's later. So of course that route is always open to you. But I just wanted to go ahead and give one food for thought here, that I think the student before Niharika had mentioned about the pandemic and what kind of fields and what kind of careers would be relevant. I think that's a word that you need to keep in mind. This is a time that where you go ahead and prepare yourself to stay relevant in the changing world. And if you're looking at that, there's a continuous requirement of unlearning and relearning new stuff. Your transferable skills, your cognitive skills would something that will take you a long way. So whichever degree you pursue or you have in your mind, before you make that choice, make sure that you know that what is a bigger picture that you are really moving towards. So just don't make short-term goals, but also look at how you can connect that short-term goal with your long-term goals that you want to probably achieve. So of course, Niharika, if I'm not wrong, if you're looking at doing a BCom degree, your first choice would be Delhi University. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think the question was from Gauri.
Yeah, Gauri. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yes, ma'am, I'm looking for you.
Sure. So before you, and I think I covered that in my presentation as well, that when you choose to do a degree from a conventional college in comparison to when you probably go for a liberal arts. So just look at those comparison, research well before you get into anything. And that's a suggestion for all of you here who are seeking answers right now in terms of how and what is a good way of creating a path for yourself. I think what is important in today's world is that you research well your options before you make a choice, because this is one most important decision that you all gonna go ahead and take after grade 12 about the course and the college that you choose. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think, Pooja, I just want to say that I have a career in management. I studied BCom and studied management as well. So, Gauri, the answer is, and this is from my personal experience, though I studied bachelor's in commerce, and I specialized in human resources, but today when I'm working, or even when I was working with corporates, doing human resources, I've worked with 2 companies, Viacom 18 and Percept Holdings. What I realized is even a person who specializes in marketing needs to have some expertise in the area of, let's say, accounting, because ultimately all areas of management are interwoven. Okay, and that is why the beauty of liberal arts studies, because it teaches you to understand and accept the goodness of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary careers, which is the need of the hour. So let's say you've made a career in entrepreneurship, or you've done a degree in management, which is specialization in marketing, finance, whatever, international business, which we do offer. You will be studying a subject called social media literacy. Why? Because today, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to excel, you need to understand and handle, you need to understand the goodness of social media, handle it in order to excel in your career. So as a manager, you need to kind of get an expertise at a certain level in different fields and then specialize. And that is why even when you do an MBA degree, The 2 years, out of the 2 years, the first year, they will teach you operations, they will teach you HR, they'll teach you marketing, accounting, and only then you choose to specialize. So interdisciplinary is the way forward if you want to keep options open. That's all that I wanted to highlight on from my personal experience.
All right, I'll be calling up on Niyati now. Niyati, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Myself, Niyati Sharma of class 11. My question is, I have chosen PCB with CS as my major. So what career path would suit me rather become a doctor?
Yes, Vivek, if you could take that, please.
Okay. So, Niyati, you have chosen PCB. Thinking probably you want to be a doctor. That's what it is. So that's good that you want to be a doctor. So you need to prepare for NEET, NEET NEET for that after class 12. However, you should also have plan B with you. There are courses in pharmacy. There are courses in physiotherapy, there are paramedical courses. So if you want to be in the field of medicine, there are different options available for you apart from NEET as well. However, and you said that you have computer science as well, you can also make your career in computer science. For that thing, I think it goes for all the students as well. I think you all should introspect, as in what area of interest is yours. What you want to do with your life, what you want to do, which course you want to pursue in. I mean, there are plenty of options available for you, for everybody rather, and you need to introspect. And unlike my days, I did my graduation 30 years back, almost 30 years back. We didn't have computers at that time, we didn't have connectivity at that time. You have the facility of internet, you have the power of internet at your hands. You need to research, you need to figure out what university, what college, what course. So if you go to our university's website, list of courses that you figure out, there are so many courses that you find that they are pretty new or you haven't heard of. So a lot of universities are offering, just like Kriya University is offering so many courses which I have not heard of, at least. So there are so many options available. So I think you should introspect. I'm sorry, I forgot the name, the student, Niharika. Was it Niharika?
No, it was not Niharika. Niyati.
Okay. So Niyati, I think you should introspect, as in what you want to do. You have PCB, you want to go for NEET. If you want to go for NEET, if you think that you can go for NEET, start preparing for it right now. You should not waste any more day for that thing. So, I mean, there are plenty of career options available apart from NEET as well. I mean, you need to introspect on that.
Thank you so much, Vivek. I'll be taking the next question of Niharika Singh. She is from class 11th. Please unmute yourself, Niharika Singh.
Good morning, everyone. My question is, what are the highest qualifications required to become a professional surgeon?
Professional surgeon. Niharika will request Vijayata ma'am to please note down this question, and she will get back to you with the answer on a mail or via a call. I'll be calling out the next student, Avika Sinha. She's from class 10th. Please go ahead with your question, Avika.
Good morning to all representatives here. Question is for Kriya University. That inside I noticed that there's the option content creator. So what does actually content creator do?
Can you please ask your question again? Your voice was not clear.
I want to ask that what does the content creator do? Is he job of a content creator?
Okay.
Content creator.
What does a content creator do? So that was an example that I took in my presentation. A content creator, normally, if you would have seen for digital marketing, content creation is when you are writing articles, when you are writing blogs. Any of these things is what is a job of a content creator is. And what you require to become a content creator is have a sound knowledge of the language, of course. You need to understand psychology. You need to study psychology to be able to understand human behavior. You need to probably also have an understanding of economics to understand the business trends. It will entirely depend on Once you become a content creator, what is your forte? Which particular subject, which particular topic, which particular field is you want to probably go ahead and write about? Whatever websites that you see, whatever digital content you see that's available, this variety of it is that is available, and where a content creator would be needed in terms of the services that a content creator can provide. I hope I answered that question for you.
Thank you so much, Nupur. We'll be taking the next question of Mahika. Mahika, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm at present studying in class 10. I just wanted to ask that in future, if I want to become an English major, what career options or courses option will I have?
Yes, Nupur, if you can take that.
Yeah, so Mahika, if you probably go for English as your major, again, your progression from there in terms of the careers that you can choose would completely depend on what are the other combined subjects that you've taken. With doing English purely, I myself is an English major, and please don't ask me that kind of fields that I have worked with. I've come from banking to education sector, and I've done various kind of things in the last 15 years. So I would say that the world is open if you want to probably go ahead and do a majors in English. But what also would depend along with that, when you major in English, is what you minor in, what your interests otherwise are. Obviously, the field of academia is open for you if you want to get into become a professor. I would highly suggest to you that you can obviously look at maybe combining it with history, or maybe combining it with doing a foreign language. All the doors opens for you. There are multiple things that you can choose from. Just don't restrict yourself in terms of just doing a specialization in English, doing a major in English in your graduation years. You have to probably add on more skills, add on more courses to it, to open up the spectrum, the variety of subjects, the variety of careers that would be open for you after that. Yeah.
If I may pitch in for 30 seconds, I mean, what Nupur ma'am said is absolutely right. Plus, I would just like to add to this thing that you can also make your career in the as a trainer as well. So trainers are in great demand. I mean, you can also be training. You can be a content writer as well of English. The copywriters which the newspapers have. So you can also have a career in journalism post doing English majors as well. I mean, so in print media, in digital media, there are plenty of options available. I mean, trainer. I come from training background. I was a trainer for a while, so I understand the importance of English. So you can be trainer. I mean, just to add to what Nupur said, these are few more career options that you can look for after doing English major. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivek. I'll be taking the next question of Zahi Ahmed. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. So my question is that how can I pursue a career in sound engineering, which includes mixing, mastering, or beat production, which is not blown up yet. So I have no idea how to pursue a career in it.
Yes, anyone can help him with that, or I'll ask Vijayata ma'am to find out about this, and Zahi will get back to you on your query.
So,
all right?
Yeah, I just wanted to inform you that we have a program called Music Technology.
Okay.
At Foothill College. You can explore that area of study. It's a great program. It combines the goodness of technology with music, and you will be able to understand sound technology, and you can do sound engineering in the US. So it's a major that exists, but you're free to look up our engineering and music technology programs on the website, foothill.edu.
Thank you, Dipali. Zahi, I hope that helps you out. I'll be calling out next Ritu Raj. You're from class 12th, I believe. Yes, please unmute yourself and go ahead with the question.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Ritu Raj, student of class 12 science with the subjects PCB and computer science. Now, ma'am, my question is, we know that how much time an average student spends studying and doing assignments in schools and colleges. If we are talking about, for example, I want to have a career in computer science and programming. So when we started, we feel like we are going towards a creative path and following in cognitive journey for our future. But since we spend some time, for example, some weeks or some months, we realize that we are not going on a creative path. We are following actually a theoretical way to just like most of Indian universities. Report shows that most of colleges follow the theoretical path of completing the courses and getting the sheets filled with marks of different assignments and different projects. And the students of that college or university, if we talk about any, we mean any of the college or any of the university in India, we took out any student from that and we asked them how you are going with your college or university. He always tell that I thought that I would be doing this and this and follow my passion, but my notebooks are always covered with equations and questions, just that, and I am not able to follow practical and creative way. So how can the universities ensure that the students who are joining them are following a creative way to follow their passion?
All right, that's a brilliant question. I believe from a student's perspective, I'll request all the university speakers to go one by one. Nupur, first you.
Rituraj, that's an excellent way. I think this is not a question that just you are asking, but the realization is there on a bigger level as well. And I think if you know a little about the national education policy, it is already talking about all of this, of holistic development and going beyond marks. And I think any university who comes and talks about that, what I am talking about on behalf of Priya University is exactly the same, that we are going beyond marks. Our requirements are not as such, as I mentioned in my presentation also while discussing the admission criteria. We are not asking for students to have secured a minimum of a certain percentage to get into Priya at the first place itself. What we are doing is no college, even if any of the colleges across the world, I know there are a few great names, top 50, top 100 colleges that we talk about, and they very proudly mention about the placement cells and the placements that their students get. Please understand this, that any university in this world is not solely working towards or looking at admitting students to create products which are corporate ready. We are creating products for being future ready. We are not guaranteeing you at any point of time. I think none of the university would ever give you in writing as a guarantee that if you come to our college, then we would secure you a position in an X organization. We are just preparing you for the future. And our responsibility is not to just prepare you academically, but also give you a holistic development. And that's why there are the kind of experiences that the colleges are curating for students are dependent completely on the interest of the student, the bent of their academic bent, which specialization, which course they're interested in, which subject they're interested in. And therefore we are just completely preparing you to go outside in the world and accept the challenges that are available. Whether you want to pursue your post-graduation, do your PhD later, or you want to go ahead and start working, you need to carve your path yourself. But we will equip you completely in the next 3 years to be able to take on those challenges. So it is not just fancy words that we use and we come and talk about, but I think that is a sole focus of every university through their programs, through their academic programs and the extracurriculars and the immersive learning that they are providing. They make sure that the student gets a flavor of everything and they are well prepared for the world outside. I hope I was able to answer your question there.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Dipali.
Okay, sir. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yes, Vivek sir, please.
Let Dipali speak. No issues whatsoever. Absolutely no issues.
Okay, so Suraj, I think that was a great question. So the US is known for, I'll just speak about the US for now. It's known for hands-on learning. So you are learning by doing, at Foothill College and De Anza College and almost all institutions in the US, you have to mandatorily spend a certain number of hours doing hands-on learning. That means practical work in the laboratory, in the research center, at the student club, and that counts towards your bachelor's degree. It's a part of your bachelor's degree. For example, at De Anza College, if you're studying computer science, there's an interesting thing. It's called the Microsoft Azure program. Obviously, we all know Microsoft Azure is a software, right? And we actively teach you that program. So imagine that's already hands-on. That's actually learning the Microsoft Azure program. It's accredited, it's certified. So you are not only studying from a prescribed syllabus. There is no syllabus per se. You are free to choose your classes within computer science. What do you want to study? It's very flexible in the US, very hands-on. We also have, in the US, there are so many institutions that have co-op programs, cooperative programs where internship is embedded. It's a part of your syllabus. So you study for one quarter or semester, you work for 1 quarter. It's mandatory to work, and that's a part of your syllabus. You get paid for it. You also have so many internship opportunities, especially if you're at Foothill or De Anza in the Silicon Valley. I'll give you an example. We had a student from India, from Surat. He is doing computer science with us at De Anza, and he also did an internship with Apple. He's working on Safari online. So it is very hands-on and flexible in the US. You are not prescribed to only, you're not like given a prescription to only study from a textbook and get your degree. It's very, very hands-on and it's super flexible. So that will really help you.
Yes, Vivek sir.
Okay, so first of all, very long question. It took me a while to figure out what exactly was it. Anyways, a really great question in today's times, as Nupur ma'am was saying that NEP talks about these things, that only the prescribed format should not be the only criteria. So it also comes from individual interest as well. So one very small question, Rituraj, how many students you have in the class? One very small question. Sorry? 36. All 36 score same marks in a particular subject? No. The reason for that is that everybody has a different area of interest. So you may score 75 in mathematics and let's say 70, 78 in physics, and again coming to chemistry, you may score 45 or 46. I'm just saying, just an example. So that's the area of interest. What interests you is more important. And if you have seen the presentation of our university from the beginning, my colleague Mamta ma'am, she was talking about project-based learning. So in today's time, we have, in our university, we have actually moved from that prescribed syllabus format. Syllabus is there, definitely is going to be there, but we have moved from that as well. And you can take project according to what you choose, you want to choose, right? We have, as the presentation was talking about robotics lab. So we have robotics lab. You work under the supervision of professors from IIT Bombay. So you do your own projects. You try to innovate something. So, and I believe a lot of universities in today's time have understood this aspect that not marks won't do. Just like 3 Idiots movie, Ranchod Das says, go after excellence, not success. Right? If you want to go after excellence, you need to not only study the books, whatever they are, you have to also work for yourself and work on projects of different varieties. So in any field that you work, you go in engineering, you go in medical, you go in any other field, you need to work on your own improvisation as well, apart from what you learn in the classroom or in the class atmosphere. That's my take on this.
Thank you so much, Vivek, Nupur and Dipali. We're way ahead of time and we still have 4-5 students. If you all are okay, can we take the questions?
Yep, I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry, but I would have to move.
All right, Nupur, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we'll be taking the next question of Palak Bisht. Palak, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my another question is, how do I know if that college or university is the right fit for me?
All right, Vivek sir, if you can take that, please.
A little difficult one, Palak, right now, because I mean, we don't know what is the right fit for us. I mean, we can just presume in today's time. I sitting here right now, I can presume that this thing would fit for me, or this thing is good for me. We do not know, but you need to introspect. First thing, you need to introspect and figure out what college, what university, what location is good for me. So you need to introspect on that. And looking at the facility, obviously you will not be able to study in 10 different universities at the same time. You will be able to study only in one. So you need to choose the best location which suits you, best facilities that suits you, and best pocket that suits you. So that would be the right fit, I believe, for you. And see, बच्चे देखो, आप कहीं पर भी पढ़ लीजिए, आपको अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, so you will not be able to do well in the best of the colleges, in the best of the universities. If you are interested, you probably will be doing wonders even if that college is not according to the ranking number 1, number 10, number 15. So it has to come from you, from within. I feel that way.
Thank you so much, Vivek sir. I'll be taking the next question of Suraj. Yes, Suraj, please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Saurabh Raj of class 9-2. I had thought of doing astronomy and research about outer space, but on the other hand, I enjoy geography, especially climate, and I want to learn more about it. But I don't know much about careers in geography. I want to know that what should I go ahead with, the subject which I enjoy reading, or astronomy.
So, Saurabh, it is, if I can take it.
Yeah, please, sir.
So, Saurabh, the first thing that you need to do is you need to figure out what career you want to make. And you want to make your career in astronomy or in the field of geography. See, geography is again a very vast field that we see today. I mean, environment is one thing which everybody is talking about in every discussion that is coming up, and anywhere. Environment is the first thing that is talked about. Global warming, you see, is the second topic. Environment and global warming is, I think, at par with each other when it is being discussed in every forum anywhere in the world. So geography is one field where you can make a good career out of it. And again, astronomy is not a field which is going to sit behind, right? So all these, any field is good field for you, but the only thing is that you need to figure out. You need to see, if both are your interests, you can't make careers in both the fields. You have to choose one. So you need to sit with somebody who can guide you one-to-one, as in what field you can choose from. My take.
I would say that, I think this is a good time for all students to explore, go to Coursera, Udemy. There are so many certified courses available. Some are free, some are paid. They are all certified by great universities as well, sometimes from the US. Sometimes you hear good big words like actual science, astrophysics, astronomy, but you're not sure whether this is really what will interest you. And hence I feel an introductory course or certification, an introductory certification related to astrophysics or astronomy or whatever you want to study will really help. So at this point in time, if you have the time and you clearly do, if you're already not in grade 12, you can explore doing a few courses from Coursera, Udemy. Those really help. Now at Puthil and De Anza, we actually have an observatory on campus. We have a planetarium. Astronomy is taught on campus. What I've realized is students sometimes want to do astronomy because they're just carried away by outer space. But when you actually go down to studying astronomy, there's a lot more. There's a lot of involvement of chemistry, physics, and math, and how they're interlinked to come to decisions. Even when we take our students to the NASA research labs for field trips, when there are guest lectures, students actually understand what goes inside this entire working of outer space. So as an educator and advisor, my recommendation is at this point you have the time. So do a few certified courses to understand whether this is actually what you're interested in, or it's just something that you have heard and got passionate and amazed about. Okay, so explore, get to know what the detailing is within a particular field, and if that is really your forte and interest.
Thank you so much, Dipali. I'll be taking, it's already 12:15 and we are way ahead of our time. I'll be taking a question of Aditya Roy, sir. Yes, do you have any questions, sir?
Yes, thank you. It was great, this presentation by all the dignitaries. Good afternoon to all. My question, I'm seeking for a suggestion for my students of basically class 9 and 10th who are there in 9 and 10. It is a situation that actually after 9 and 10, they select 3 different streams in our school: science, humanities and commerce. But what happens, science dominates as traditionally, we all know. So what happens that padhai mein acha hai, if you're good at studies, go for science. You're getting good number, go for science. This is traditionally this thing is happening. Even friends are going for that, and those students who feel that okay, pass hona hai, so then we go for commerce or ekdam nahi to humanities. But now since we know, we the educators, we know the changes and the reality of the demand. But what would you like to suggest? I want the suggestion. We are the teachers, they see us on daily basis, but you people, if you could suggest them that how to choose the correct stream as per your personality or what suits you, that would be very great of.
So I can start first, ma'am. Pooja ma'am?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. So Aditya sir, I'll just start with a very small example of my own only. I'm very passionate about cricket. As India has a religion called cricket, so almost everyone is very passionate. I'm also very passionate about cricket. Now I read about cricket, I talk about cricket, I watch cricket, and I love cricket. But if you tell me to pad up and go in the stadium and face Shoaib Akhtar or Brett Lee kind of bowlers, my legs will start shaking, right? So that is what every student has to understand. There is something called passion, there is something called interest. You may be passionate. I'm very passionate about cricket. Any match, I can watch Zimbabwe-Kenya match as well. I mean, to be very honest with you. But if you want to ask me and go face a bowler from Zimbabwe only, I will have my legs shaking. So we need to figure out, the 9th and 10th standard students need to figure out what interests them. What will they study and they will not fall asleep. Physics की book पढ़ते पढ़ते मैं सो गया. I like physics, but पढ़ते पढ़ते मैं सो गया. That means I'm not interested in that. So they need to understand that. Students need to understand. And today, sir, to be very honest, unlike 30 years back when I did my 12th 31 years back. We didn't have so many career options that we have today. Today we have a career as stand-up comedian. Today we have career as RJs, VJs, so many of those, which are not related. You can be a science graduate, you can be an engineer, you can become an RJ after doing engineering, right? You can be a stand-up comedian after doing medical field or whatever. I'm just saying. So today the things have changed so much, and there is so much on offer, and it is confusing. Because I can be a stand-up comedian, I can be a wildlife photographer, I can be an engineer, I can be a hotelier. So, पता नहीं क्या करूँ. तो इसीलिए we need to understand what interests me. See, my family, my parents will tell me कि 7 सालों का बेटे ने साइंस लिया था, उसको इतने मार्क्स आ गए. हमारे रिश्तेदार के बच्चे ने वो लिया था, उसके इतने मार्क्स आ गए. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कर लो, लॉ कर लो, ये कर लो, बहुत कुछ. We listen to a lot of things, but what interests the student? हम साइंस प्रेशर में तो लेते हैं ना. Most of the science students take science stream under pressure. कि साइंस नहीं होगा तो चलो कॉमर्स ले लेंगे, बीकॉम कर लेंगे, नहीं तो बीए कर लेंगे. यही तो करते थे ना. आज सिनेरियो चेंज हो चुका है सर. I am talking about 30 years back or 20 years back. But things have changed so much in today's time. You can be a history graduate and still be an entrepreneur. You can start your own company. I mean, you can be a vice president in any company be after doing graduation in history. I mean, no restrictions as such. So you can be a medical graduate, or you can be a doctor, and you can be a guitarist as well. You want to make a career in guitar and singing, like Palash Sen. He was an engineer. He's a singing thing. He has a singing group. So different fields. I mean, I'm to be very honest, I'll just take 30 more seconds. I'm sorry if I've taken more. No, but to just conclude, my view is that today there are so many options available for everybody. I mean, it is not restricted to a particular set of students के science background से हैं तो इनके लिए यही है, या humanities से. हाँ, वो एक restriction है कि अगर आप science से नहीं हो तो आपको engineering करने को नहीं मिलेगा या कुछ. वो एक छोटा सा restriction है, थोड़ा सा. But apart from that, the world is open for everybody, and every kind of course they can go for, I believe. So they need to introspect, understand कि मेरा interest कहाँ पर है, मेरा, my. It has to come to my thing. Not come under pressure from somebody else. Suggestion. Thank you so much, Vivek sir. Yes, Dipali, if you would like to pitch in something.
I think he's bang on, like he's given exact things that I was thinking about. That is a great piece of advice, Vivek sir. I could actually relate to you because look at me. I have studied business administration with a specialization in human resources, but I'm an educator. I'm practicing fields related to non-clinical psychology and marketing and education, advising, and I'm learning. So I think whatever you're passionate about, if you're able to kind of make a career in that, learning is a never-ending tool. Once we learn how to unlearn, relearn, and appreciate the goodness of change, I think we are all going to be fine. Because I know people who are doctors. A very good friend of mine is a doctor, but he is not practicing actively. Instead, he has his own company of medical services that he provides, with tie-ups with pharmacies. So I think it's an evolving world. We are getting closer globally. Education is a must. You need that certain solid background to support you always. My only advice is keep the undergraduate as broad as possible and specialize at the master's level. That's always been the thumb rule. For example, if you want to be an aerospace engineer, do mechanical at the undergrad level because that's a broader area of study. You can then specialize in aerospace. But if you're going to do a bachelor's in aerospace, it's great if you're very sure about it. But if you're not sure and tomorrow you realize, oh my God, aerospace, I did a bachelor's, but I don't want to continue, then you're stuck. So keep your undergrad as broad as possible and specialize at the master's level.
Great thing, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipali. With this, we come to the end of the session of Campus Coach today with your school. I will request Niharika Sharma to please come ahead for the vote of thanks, please.
Gratitude is one of the least articulate of the emotions, especially when it is sweet. Good afternoon, everyone. So we have reached the end of this beautiful session. On behalf of all the students of Modern Public School, I am Niharika Sharma of Class 12 would like to thank Campus Coach and all the presenters of all the universities for enlightening us with your inspiring and motivating words. I am pretty sure the precious knowledge that all the presenters have gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future. Wholeheartedly, I must thank our Honorable ED Ma'am, Principal Ma'am and all the teachers for their guidance and support for organizing such an event. Thank you everyone for making it a great success.
Thank you so much, Niharika. Students, this is not the only session of Campus Coach that we are doing with you. We'll be coming back to you after 2 months' time. In case you have any kind of query or questions in your mind, you can do write to us at cc@eduace.in. Vijeta ma'am is going to answer to all your queries, and any queries regarding the universities that were here today, Kriya University, KR Mangalam and Foothill. If you have any query regarding these universities, please do write us to and get in touch and we will connect you with them. Thank you all to the management of the school, to Sudha ma'am, to ED ma'am, Tapti Chatterjee ma'am, for giving us the opportunity of hosting Campus Coach with your school. All the best to all the students, and thank you everyone. Thank you Team Campus Coach, Vijeta ma'am, Neha, who's been supporting us getting all this along for today. Thank you everyone. Have a very nice day.
Thank you
so much for the Campus Coach team and the universities. Thank you, and hope any queries students will mail it to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Wishing all the best to all the students.
Thank you Aditya sir. Thank you Rashmi ma'am. If I have put out anyone's name, I'm really sorry. But thank you everyone for putting this up together. Thank you.
Good day. Bye.